Hi there, and thank you for joining XR Om, India's first AR VR podcast. Do kindly subscribe, support, and share. I spoke with Hrish Lotlikar. His background spans technology, entertainment, venture capital, investment banking, and management consulting. So he's the co-founder of the Rogue Initiative, a Hollywood film, TV, virtual reality, and gaming production studio. He's also the co-founder of Superworld, a blockchain-based social augmented reality company which allows you to buy and sell virtual real estate. I wish you enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you, Hrish, for being part of XRM podcast. Really appreciate this. You taking time out and being part of a little venture to kind of educate and build awareness about AR VR here in India. AR VR is here in India. A big opportunity. So before, we get on to, can you just give us a little brief to my audience on who you are, what you're doing, a little background?
Sure. Hey, thanks again, Eddie, for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here on your podcast, and really, kudos to you for all your work in AR and VR and entertainment that you're doing in India and all over the world. So thanks for having me. A little bit on myself. I was actually born in Mumbai, India.
Wow.
My family originally is from Goa. So, have a very strong connection to India and the region. My background is I grew up in the United States and have been living, all over the world in the last 20 years or so after finishing undergraduate and graduate school in the U.S. My career started off in consulting and then investment banking and then venture capital in New York. I started a venture capital fund in Europe and Ukraine, also involved in an early stage accelerator in Belarus. I was then the first biz dev at a company called TopTal, which provides global talent to companies around the world, and then moved into the space that we're talking about now. About 5 years ago, I co-founded Rogue Initiative Studios, which is a film, TV, VR, and gaming studio. My co-founder, Pete Blumel, produced Call of Duty, Modern Warfare series, and Ghosts. And my other co-founder, Kathy Twig, was previously at DreamWorks. And we're partnered with some well-known filmmakers. And the point is what we're doing there is to create new original content that goes across feature film, television, VR, and gaming. And then about 2.5 years ago, I co-founded Superworld, which is an augmented reality platform with my co-founder, Max Woon. Max previously co-founded Xfire and sold it to Viacom, but he's also been an early founder and member of teams at Fizzle, Sliver, Skit, and Toonstar, all venture-backed companies. And he used to be in Stephen Hawking's department at Cambridge. So a brilliant guy, and was fortunate enough to work with Max earlier in my career at a YouTube company. So that's kind of what we're currently working on. Superworld's an AR platform. But the platform is very rich, so a lot of different content mediums can get in there as well.
Yeah. So how cool is that? You've been around, done so many things, from consulting to investment banking to as an investor. So largely, I see your space in the finance sector. You've been a business developer. How did AR VR happen to you?
Yeah, I was living in Los Angeles, working at a stealth company on the YouTube platform when I first had my exposure to Oculus in 2014 at a friend's house who had an early version of the Oculus headset. And so, loved it, was blown away by that experience. Subsequently, with my co-founder, Pete, who I mentioned, who I'd worked with, we decided to start a studio doing not only reality content, but gaming content, feature film, and television. So it was kind of through an experience I had of seeing VR in that early Oculus headset, and I think I was very drawn to it. And that's kind of what started me down that path of getting into immersive entertainment.
Lovely. So,
Yeah.
I was on a website, and Michael Bay is also part of the company, right? I mean, he's the advisor, mentor, or part of the company. So, could you share a little bit more light on that?
Sure. Can you say the question again? I apologize. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, right. So I was on the website and I saw that Michael Bay is also part of the company. I mean, could
Yeah.
you share more light on that?
Yes. So Michael Bay is a production partner of Rogue Initiative Studios. He used to work very closely with my co-founder Pete Blumel at Amblin and DreamWorks. They'd worked together on the first Transformers movie, and Michael has always been very interested in the success of the Call of Duty franchise, and there is a big similarity between a Call of Duty game and a Michael Bay movie. So if you look at a Michael Bay movie and you look at a Call of Duty game, they are a lot of computer graphics. There's a lot of technology in both of those things, and a Call of Duty game could be a film, right? In many ways as well. So the interactive world and the linear world in terms of film and television have really come together in Hollywood. And Michael really understands that and has been at the forefront of utilizing technology in his movies. And he's part of the Rogue Initiative because as a production partner, the point is we're building globally marketable original content that can go across all of those mediums. So Michael has the great deal of experience on the film and television side, and my co-founder Pete comes from the interactive side. So that's kind of how the Rogue Initiative brings both of those things together, and that's really the point, is to build new original content that's meant to take advantage of this new world that we live in, where a film and a video game are becoming one, and immersive content is becoming what people demand. And I believe that in the next few years, as a film and a video game become one, we're going to be able to, live those games and live those movies and really be part and have a lot more agency in the entertainment that we are consuming. So that's exciting. So that's why Michael's involved, and we're lucky to have him as part of the company.
Lovely. How cool is that? I mean, it's nice that Hollywood is like opening up to virtual reality content. And I mean, in India, we have a couple of Bollywood studios and directors who also understand the potential of virtual reality content. The trajectory, if you see, at least in the theaters, the audience is dwindling, right? Because people are looking at on-demand experience, plus they're looking at something novelty, and that's where virtual reality comes in. So there'll be the Bahubali had a VR. Did A.R. Rahman has done a VR film called Le Mask, which is not been released yet, but Shekhar Kapoor, the director of Bandit Queen, is doing something in VR. So it's nice that Michael Bay is and you guys are also doing something in VR. So do you guys see synergy with like a Hollywood Bollywood connection? Because Hollywood is the biggest film market in the world. Bollywood is a huge market opportunity. So is Rogue Initiative, you guys looking at possibly collaboration opportunity? Have you?
Yeah, no, I think that there's huge opportunities for collaboration. In terms of our strategy, we're very global. China is a big part of Rogue Initiative strategy. I spent a lot of time in India as well, business-wise, and I'm in connection with you as well as others in the industry there. And I think that the Indian movie market and the Indian entertainment market is number one in many ways for many reasons. There's a very strong connection, I think, with the Indian audience, with entertainment and Bollywood. And in a similar way, I think the world is connected to Hollywood entertainment. So it makes a lot of sense for us to have a strong connection with Bollywood. And, to your point, Bollywood itself is also moving in a similar direction in terms of embracing immersive entertainment and technology, as well as storytelling that is very internationally minded. And I think that that's where the world is going. So as far as the way we think of creating new original content, our belief is that we have to create content that is globally marketable and globally appreciated. And I think that clearly means that we have to be closer to Bollywood. So I would love to, again, spend more time in India. I'm looking forward to coming and visiting you as well. And, I'm very open to forging a deeper connection with Bollywood filmmakers, Bollywood AR, VR technologists, as well as gamers that are building kind of this new mediums of content that we're discussing. So I think it's going to be very exciting, and I think that relationship makes a lot of sense.
Right, yeah, and especially in India, when it comes to Bollywood, I mean, we're a country with 1.3 billion people, right? And there's a huge population which is, cannot do without Bollywood movie, right? I mean, we eat, read Bollywood movie, right? And the way to off this technology, which is a nation stage, could be Bollywood, at least in India, because there's a huge market which could be opened up with the likes of possibly, if you engage, maybe you have a VR content, you have maybe like a Shah Rukh Khan, somebody featured being part of the content. There are a large number of people who are largely unaware about virtual reality would be open to try that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So could you share a little bit about the experiences that you build, the VR experiences that you build at the Rogue Initiative?
Sure. So far, we've released a couple of experiences. One is called Crow the Drowned Armory, which is released on a variety of headsets, HTC and Oculus. It's an interactive VR experience, taking you into this world and helping you and the kind of put you in the driver's seat of this kind of fantasy adventure. It's again an example of creating a story and an IP that is meant to go across other mediums. So we're exploring taking Crow the Drowned Armory into the TV space, into film, into toys and other markets as well. And so that was kind of a first foray of that IP into VR. But again, the reason there is this world and this kind of fantasy adventure is because there's a lot of potential to kind of build that into a very big franchise opportunity. The second piece of VR that we released more recently is called Agent Emerson. It's a first-person VR kind of James Bond-esque, film, VR film. So you can go through and be a secret agent or spy, and you're able to go through this environment and experience and interact and be that secret agent. So it's a lot of fun, and again, another example of our ability to work with producers and bring an original content VR story to Oculus, and to be able to, again, planning on kind of building that out into other mediums as well.
So these contents that you built, how profitable are they? Because at this point in time, the large problem with VR is distribution, right? Distribution is a huge problem. Monetization again is a huge problem because the technology is in such a nascent stage.
Yeah.
Besides us who are vested in the space, I mean, you just step out and then you meet these people, and then they don't really know what virtual reality is about. So, how do you think we can push drive this ecosystem where it becomes a sustainable business?
Yeah, that's a really great point. And, I think that over the last 5 years, we've seen the growth in the number of headsets in the market increase pretty rapidly. I think in the first couple of years, it wasn't moving as fast as people would have liked, for sure. And there was a little bit of a cooling in the virtual reality space. And I think we're starting to see the number of headsets pick up as Facebook, as other hardware headset device makers have entered the market and have started producing headsets that I think really appeal to a price point that consumers are willing to pay, as well as in terms of functionality. So, not having to maybe buy a computer that you're tethered to. And so, as I mentioned, Facebook and HTC are kind of leading the way there. I think PlayStation and I think the number of other headset makers out in the market globally, I think, is kind of stemming that tide there in terms of getting more people with VR headsets that they can consume this content on. And I'm pretty excited about Oculus Quest and the numbers that they've posted recently. I think it's still pretty hard to get your hands on one, I've heard, depending on what markets you're in. So that's all really positive. So I think, ultimately, to answer your question, I think it's a number of people who have the opportunity to, even view this stuff and then buy it. And I think another factor that's making some of this also improve over the last couple of years is location-based entertainment. Companies like Sandbox VR, which has raised quite a bit of money, as well as others that are bringing VR to entertainment centers and to places maybe like movie theaters outside of the home, where users can be exposed to VR and ultimately are going to end up purchasing a Oculus Quest or an HTC Vive or a Sony PlayStation VR headset at home. So I think that is happening, and I would say, in the next couple of years, I would say that growth is going to continue to be exponential in terms of VR. Mark Andreessen, I'm sure you've heard his quote about this in the last, I think, year or so. It's always been a common understanding that AR would be bigger than VR. And Mark, has said that he believes the opposite, that VR is going to be a much bigger industry than AR, because the surroundings that most people have are not something they actually want to see. They want to go into virtual environments. So, I think we'll see what happens there with the market environment in VR and AR, but I think they're going to both be huge. And it's a matter of those headsets getting into market and people getting exposed to this. And when they do, and we can get everything to feel more comfortable and lighter and work more beautifully and seamlessly, I think it's going to be a big, big industry. And when Apple enters the marketplace with VR, which I hope will happen in the next few years, I think all bets are off, and it's going to be a very profitable place to create VR content.
Completely. I'm completely with you. Yes, the future is looking really, really awesome because, yes, I mean, AR, VR is nothing but the next computing platform. You will be wearing a computer on your head, like the glasses, right? And you said, yes, LBVRE is a big space, and that's one medium which we could drive adoption. In India, Bombay, we have zero latency, which is just starting, is doing pretty
Yep.
well over here. Yeah, so yes, I mean the AR VR space is looking nice, you know. So can you tell us more about your augmented reality decentralized real estate app, Superworld?
Sure. Superworld is an augmented reality platform. The best way to describe it is I often say it's kind of like Pokemon Go meets Foursquare meets Monopoly. So if I come to Mumbai and you're not there, as a use case, you could say, "Hey, Rish, I'm out of town, but why don't you check out my world?" And I could walk around and you've left me things in different places. You've left a hologram of yourself somewhere. You've left photos and videos in different places. You've left messages at your favorite restaurants about what I should eat and drink. You've basically personalized the real world in augmented reality. So you have a world, I have a world, brands have worlds. Nike could put a shoe right in the center of downtown in Mumbai, and Coca-Cola could put a bottle of Coca-Cola in the same place, right? Because in Superworld, every world is a filter on top of the real world. So you could have an infinite number of filters on the world. Depending on what world you want to look at is what you're going to see. If I'm going to look at your world, then I'm going to see things that you want me to see. Ultimately, what Superworld is it's a discovery platform for augmented reality content, right? So I use the example of Pokemon Go. However, the content that you view in Superworld doesn't have to be just geographically placed. You could see it in your living room. You could see it on your coffee table in your apartment or in your house, right? So you don't have to go somewhere to see the content, but you can place content geographically. So imagine Superworld as your own video game layer on top of the real world, right? And so what I've described again for you is Pokemon Go, which is putting digital information on the real world. Foursquare, which is a data company, but except here there's a lot more data. It's XR data. And then the third part of Superworld is Monopoly. So what does that mean? It means that we've divided up the world into 64 million digital blocks. Each block is on the blockchain. It's a digital asset. And when you buy a block, you get a share of any of the commerce that happens on that block in augmented reality. Advertising, transactions, digital commerce, e-commerce, our data API. There's lots of ways to monetize in augmented reality because ultimately there's an ability to build an infinite number of video games on top of the real world, right? Or educational information or entertainment or whatever, right? So this digital layer can really host any type of content or media that you want. And by owning this quote unquote virtual real estate, you now have a share of the revenue on that block. And so you're a key stakeholder on the platform. So unlike other social networks, Facebook, Google, other places, you're able to own and be part of Superworld. And so we're building a natural economy here where users can actually buy parts of Superworld, share in the overall, growth of the company and the commerce that happens on the company. And so again, similar to, Airbnb versus a centralized hotel chain, the benefits of having users to be part of the ecosystem incentivizes everyone for the success of the ecosystem. And then ultimately, because we're on the blockchain, there's only a finite amount of Superworld. So we're seeing that people are recognizing that and they're going out and buying plots of land all over the world right now.
Lovely. How cool is that? I think it's a great concept, and I really wish you the very best for that. So tell me, I mean, supposing if somebody wants to go buy a plot of land, How does one go about doing that?
Yeah, so they go to superworldapp.com. You can Google Superworld, and it'll come up, Superworld AR. Go to our website, click on the button, enter Superworld, and it'll walk you through the process of buying property. So you just pick out where you want to buy on the map, and once you've logged in, you could see what has already been purchased, what is being resold, and what is available to buy. Anything that is currently unpurchased is zero point 0.1 ether, which is about $17 right now for about 100 meters by 100 meter block. So almost a city block of land you're getting for 100 meters by 100 meters for about 0point 0.1 ether. But that price will probably change in the future. So we're a seed stage company right now. We're raising capital, and we're doing a lot of product development. So right now it's kind of a land grab. So if you understand what we're doing and what we're trying to build, the idea is, hey, we'd love to have you on Superworld. Go buy some real estate and be part of the movement.
I think you're building a great movement, because see the future. I see the world. Everything is gonna get annotated, right? The guy from Leap Motion, I forget his name. He had made this video a couple of years back, where he had depicted this world where you walk into this world and you go into a mall or whatever, and any street corner and everything is annotated. And that is the future, right? And I guess you building a great platform, right? So you said it's presently you guys are bootstrapped, or you guys are
We've raised a little bit of capital. We're raising capital right now. So if there's people that are interested in what we're building, I'm welcome to talk to them. We're working a lot on product right now, and kind of deep in kind of building our application out. So we're kind of starting the process. At the same time, we're getting traction, understanding kind of all the different ways that this can go in terms of the story for Superworld.
Lovely. I think there's a huge opportunity over there. But now just tell me, now supposing if there's a conflicting company, what I mean is maybe there's another company, possibly Facebook, Facebook goes out, starts selling these plot lands. Now, there be a conflict for example, you have sold a piece of plot of land, maybe the New York Times Square. And what if Facebook also, so what happens in a situation like that?
Yeah, so what is sold in Superworld is part of the Superworld platform, right? So the land in the digital world that sits on top of the real world, which is what we're selling in Superworld, that is what is part of Superworld, and any applications that are connected to our data API and our ad network, right? So our goal in terms of product development is to make this a very open platform. So again, the reason we're decentralized is we want everyone to be involved. We don't anticipate that the major incumbent technology companies are going to decentralize themselves anytime soon. Jack Dorsey at Twitter, I think, made a tweet about looking into this recently. But again, I don't think that they're going to move in the same way that we're moving to allow users to buy up parts of the world. So I think what we're doing is pretty unique. That being said, if Facebook were to do something like that, that would be on the Facebook platform. I think in the space of social media and social networking, you see a lot of these tech companies copying each other in different ways. Instagram stories and Snap stories was an example. I see, TikTok doing a lot of very interesting things that I think everyone's watching in the industry. So, I think that there are going to be interesting things that we probably do at Superworld that, maybe other companies are going to emulate or try to copy as well, potentially, right? And if that's the case, hopefully that means that some of the things we're doing right. So I don't worry about that too much, to be honest. I think our goal is, again, to be really focused on creating a product that people love, getting it out there so everyone can own a piece of it and be part of it. Again, we're getting traction in that part of it as well. So again, I think another good point is that a lot of this is also, first mover advantage in some ways. Additionally, I think if you buy in one world and you own some land in Superworld, I think you're very incentivized to help build Superworld. So I think once you buy in, you're kind of, quote unquote invested, or you're kind of you have a strong kind of connection to the platform. And again, ultimately, I think the more open we are about this, the more inclusive we are about it, the more protectionist we are about people's data and users' data, which is, you see what's happening with other social networks and media companies in terms of how they are using their users' data. And we want to be very cognizant of that and really build a platform that helps users to have control over their data and protect their data, as well as maybe even monetize the data that they're sharing. So these are all, I think, to answer your question, what are barriers to entry that we could institute that makes Superworld kind of a unique platform. And I think those are kind of some of the ways that we're kind of going about our strategy to make Superworld distinct here in terms of the marketplace.
That'd be super. So how do you manage your time? You've been in the investment space. You're with the Rogue Initiative. You're with the Superworld. So and I believe you advise, or you're the advisory board of few companies also, right? So would you be open for advising and mentoring startups from India, since you are born in Bombay? Because we have there's close to somewhere around 150 to 200 AR/VR startups in the country, and they are also looking at people who, like people who have been in the business, who know the dealings of the business, how to scale a business, and you've been there, done that. So would you be open to training startups from India?
Sure, I would love to. And I think we've talked about this before. Again, I have a very strong connection to India. I think the market in India is a very smart consumer and user, and understands the entertainment space. I think is potentially going to be a very fast mover in the AR and VR space as well. And there's just so many smart technologists building amazing companies in India. So I would love to and be honored to help and work with and learn from entrepreneurs in the Indian ecosystem that you guys are building, and in general. So no, it'd be great, and I look forward to the opportunity.
Lovely, super.
Thank you.
So Hrish, thank you for being part of XRM podcast. It was a pleasure talking to you, getting to know about you, your initiatives, the stuff that you're building. Wish you the very best for the Rogue Initiative and the Superworld app. So, any parting note from our listeners, and what's your vision now for Superworld and Rogue Initiative?
Yeah, I thank you again. I appreciate it. I think parting words wise, again, what's beautiful about this industry, whether we're talking about AR, VR, or entertainment, and whether that's, film, television, mobile, gaming, there's so many different mediums that are coming online in a variety of form factors, whether it's what's happening in the OTT space, on your home television and cable, and on your mobile phone with AR and AR, with headsets, with mobile devices, with AR headsets coming out. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to get involved in this industry. And I think that one of the things that anyone listening to this should believe is that they can get involved, and that we're still super early in this whole space. So I'm very excited about the evolution of what's good to come. I'm open, as I said, if there's anyone listening who wants to get involved with Superworld, and to help us build a world and build our AR platform. I'm very open. It's decentralized for a reason. So, again, I would say my parting words are that I encourage your listeners to really, go after their passions. And if AR and VR and this immersive world is kind of what they're interested in doing, if there's any way that I can help, feel free to reach out. And I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn and other places on the net. So please reach out, and let's all do it together is my goal. So I'm happy to help you, Eddie, and I love what you're doing in the industry, and really appreciate all your efforts, because that's kind of how we're going to make all this happen in terms of creating this next immersive computing revolution. So.
Completely. Yes. I guess we need to all come together, because that's the only way we can grow this ecosystem. Technology is growing exponentially, and all of these technologies are converging together. It's not just AR, VR, it's AI, IoT, blockchain, synthetic biology, quantum computing, which is around the corner, and things are looking so awesome. And humanity, I think, will evolve and meet what it will be decided possibly by the technology, because it's a tool which will take us to or destination, right? So I'm super excited about what AR VR is going to do, or all of these technologies is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for being part of XRM podcast. And to my listeners, if you like and see what you like, if you like what you hear and see, then please press the subscribe button. And like always, I'm going to leave the details behind of Mr. Hrish, so you can connect, because this is about building a community, and that's the only way we can grow the community, because AR VR is the next big thing, is going to transform mankind. So thank you, Hrish, and thank you, listeners. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Eddie. I appreciate it.